Hey, 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 Tiger fans, it's hot time. Yeah, so I am Zach Lynch, joined as always by Jason Priester. Yeah, it is so strange this week, because we have a show coming off a Clemson win.
I know, right? I don't know how to act, man. It don't feel right.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I was thinking that same thing. I was like, hell, we have, you know, been sitting here doing these shows after losses. You know, what in the world are we going to talk about? I mean, there was no Tyler from Spartanburg this week. There was no, angry Dow. Instead, we get happy, you know, Dow. So it is like, bizarro world.
I mean, we can't even rag on the offensive line this week. It seems like it's just turned around completely here in just a matter of days.
Yes, it has. Yes, it has. Well, you know what time it is. It's yeah. So I know where you went today. I know there has to be a story in this. So why don't you go ahead and let everyone know where you were today, and let's hear it.
I had to go to the DMV. You know, we noticed a couple of weeks ago on my truck that the tag was expired, right? And I didn't think anything about it. The wife didn't think anything about it. She's like, that sticker should have come in the mail. You need to go to the DMV to see why it didn't come in. So I went up there a couple of weeks ago and they said, well, it didn't come in because you ain't paid the taxes. So
Um,
she swore up and down she had paid them, man. She spent an hour going back through the bank and stuff. And she finally texted me back and said, I guess I didn't pay it. So I had to go back up there today, and there was a late fee I had to pay and get the sticker. But kind of a reversal of fortune for me here, because I didn't even have to sit down and wait. I walked in the door, got my little number, and as soon as she handed it to me, they were calling me back. I was in and out in 5 minutes. My daughter even sat in the car the whole time.
yeah. So let's see.
I ain't lying. It feels like it's 10 o'clock, don't it?
Yes, it does. I honestly, hate, the time change for that reason. I, it's like, 6 o'clock and I'm like, damn, I am tired. I should, you know, be sitting in the bed getting ready to go to sleep. Instead, I had like 4 hours and stuff.
Yeah, we were sitting here last night. It was about 8:30. Me and my wife and two kids in there, and I was like, man, it feels like it's time to go to bed. And it was only 8:30. It felt like it was a midnight. I hate it when the time changes in the winter. It takes me forever to get used to it.
Yeah, there is nothing worse. You know what is uh, a positive? It is this Clemson offensive line. You know, last week, honestly, we were sitting there in the stadium and we were, you know, genuinely concerned as the injury part came out and you're down Walker Parks already for the season, and now you're down Sadler. You're starting Tristan Lee Harris. I mean, Marcus Tate was out for the year. I mean, it honestly looks like it was the perfect storm for just a terrible uh, offensive line. However, those boys showed up and played their best game of the season, and that was just asked how he is going to treat the offensive line, and he sounded like Sadler is going to slide back into the starting line because I mean, which honestly scares the hell out of me. You finally have five guys that can lock Orthe down, and now you're gonna go screw with it. I mean, to me, that I am not paid $11.5 million, but to me, that is a no-brainer.
Yeah, I thought, to me, I thought Trent Howard earned the opportunity to roll back out there this week. You get no arguments from me on that. To me, the question is, do they stick with the simplified, hat on a hat zone blocking scheme? Because I think that's what made all the difference in the world. I still haven't gone back and watched the replay, but I don't recall seeing one offensive lineman, you know, trying to pull. And we've seen all that stuff all year long, and they just look slow when they're trying to do that and get beat at their point of attack. And this group did not get beat at the point of attack on Saturday. It was a different looking group. It'll be interesting to see what happens when Sadler rolls back out there. But yeah, I thought Howard absolutely. I thought he played his ass off, man. I thought he absolutely earned the opportunity to roll back out there this week.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it was the first time all season that the offensive line was actually moving the line of scrimmage. They are sometimes I saw some film where they are 4 and 5 yards downfield. And so, Tickle says here, can we go ahead and address Mafia and Shipley? According to everyone, Zach could ran through those holes. Yes, Shipley, trade there his own feet or huh? I mean, yeah, those holes are the biggest ones we have seen all season.
That's what she said.
Heck, we haven't been seeing holes all season.
That's what she said.
But I think Dabo kind of addressed this yesterday. He said Moffitt earned the opportunity to, keep the hot hand. So I think he's who runs out there first, man. I know it's always been Shipley as 1A and Moffitt as 1B. I think those roles are going to be reversed. But, I think, you put Shipley back there, and I think he's productive too with those kind of lanes. But I've always been of the opinion that Moffitt was the more complete back, the more well-rounded back. That's not a knock on Will Shipley. That's just how highly I think of Phil Moffitt and his talent level.
Yeah, exactly. I am going to go ahead and queue up Dow from tonight because he was literally just asked about Shipley and often how he would handle it. And if you have ever wanted to hear a homer ask a question, here you go.
Backs and yards per carry and all that stuff. So maybe it's because he's got less carries. I don't know. They're both explosive. They're both great. And my bet Shipley will remind all those people who seem to forget who he is. He'll remind them. That'd be my bet. That'd be what I'd put my money on this week.
I wouldn't count him out either, Coach.
I wouldn't count that guy out. He's a guy you want on your team all day and twice on Sunday. You want Shipley and you want Maffa. You want both of them, and there's plenty of room for both of them.
Yeah. So the thing is, I think just like Trent Howard and the right turn out there first with the offensive line. I think that you have to keep feeding Phil. The thing is, if you truly are riding the high hand, you have to continue with Phil off as your number one running back. The other thing is, I think that the running style of Maffa, fits the zone blocking a little bit. It's more conducive to it. He gets downhill quick. He seems to see the holes better in the zone scheme. And so, we'll see. I understand where Dow is coming from with this stuff. Obviously, Will Shipley is incredibly talented, but yards per carry and this season as a whole so far, you have to think that Philadelphia has been clearly, the more productive back than Shipley.
Yeah, I think Phil Moffitt's got the better field vision. I think he is more patient as a runner. I've always thought that. I think Shipley gets he's not as patient as he needs to be sometimes, and he runs in the back of linemen. You don't see Phil Moffitt doing that a whole lot. But yeah, I agree. I think Moffitt's probably more suited for this zone blocking scheme than Shipley is. That's not to discount what Shipley's done because he's done a lot of good things back there. But I'm 100% on board with thinking Moffitt's earned the opportunity to go back out there and keep that momentum that he gained Saturday going.
Yeah. Tina gets in and says, I hope the Tigers keep the blocking scheme simplified, filling a couple of lines to holes that never open creates congestion. I think, from what we heard from Gary Riley on Monday, as well as Dowd the last 2 days, I think you're going to see this simplify. I think they realized after that NC State game that they had to trim things back even more and make it as simple as you can get. And so I think you'll continue to see the zone scheme. I think that when you do have pulling line, you're not going to see the guard tackle combo that we had seen this season so far. So, I think that they are very wise for changing up. And look, we haven't touched on this, and honestly, we didn't feel comfortable going and putting this information out there. But now that it has been out there. I think it's fine. You know, we heard last week, you know, that obviously, like everyone has by now, that Dow went in and put the players, the coaches, the video staff, basically everyone that is in that building on notice that their jobs and their scholarships were on the line these last month.
And
And
that happened on Monday before the big phone call.
yeah,
So it wasn't Tyler from Spartanburg that fired him up. He was already fired up.
yeah. Which that could be part of the reason that, Tyler from Summer got a little bit more of the anger. But
Somebody might have been going to get it regardless Monday night.
yeah, I think so. However, one of the things that, wasn't released was that my sources told me, and they haven't dead on, was that the focus of this, coming to Jesus or whatever you want to call it, was the offensive coaching staff. That every person outside of Garrett Riley was told that if they want to keep their job, they had better show up. And honestly, I think they took it to heart. I think Thomas Austin, understands that his job is on the line. I think Tyler Grisham understands that his job is on the line. Same with CJ Spiller. All the way down to, Kyle Richardson and all these videos and GAs and stuff. They all understand. And Dow tonight even said that everyone these next 3 or 4 games is basically auditioning for their spot next year. So that was a little, extra incentive for these guys last week.
Heck, they should have already known it. They were already put on notice at the end of last year, and then Dabo goes and fires Brandon Streeter after putting them all on notice. If that don't open your eyes, nothing will. So they should have already been on notice. But yeah, we've heard about what happened in that building, last week. Xavier Thomas kind of even touched on a little bit after the game Saturday, talking about he got on everybody, including the people that cut the grass out there. He was going in on everybody. So yeah, I do think it's kind of evaluation time, and everything's on the table, man, after this kind of season.
Absolutely. John Gibson says Shifley is going to make him motivated. I mean, I'll kind of steal a line from Dow. If it takes a guy going out there and rushing for 187 or 86 yards and damn near stealing your job from you for you to finally get motivated, then there is an issue. Now, I am not saying that Shifley isn't motivated. In fact, that is probably one of his weaknesses, is that he gets a little too fired up, a little too emotional, a little too hot-headed, and a little too impatient. But, it can't take, a guy going out there and performing the way that Phil Alpha did for you to finally, realize, hey, you know what, following the ball, hey, it's probably not a great idea. Now, I will say this. In this Garrett Riley scheme of offense, the running backs are responsible for making the pass rotation calls. So, yeah, that is where Shipley is slightly stronger in that area than Phil. So, yeah, that could be where you see the changes come.
Yeah, going back to the offensive line, I'd be interested to know whose idea it was to simplify this thing down and go to the zone blocking scheme. Whether it was Thomas Austin made that call, Dabo or Garrett Riley. I'd love to have been in on that conversation and know where that idea originated from, man. But it came at just the right time, and those backs, they're only going to be, generally speaking, they're going to be only as good as the guys blocking in front of them, man. And they finally and they got some help for the first time in a while Saturday. I've said it many times. I didn't think the offensive line played terribly against Duke. And then obviously Charleston Southern, Florida Atlantic, they're going to win battle at the line of scrimmage those games. And I thought they played well against Florida State. But after that, the wheels came off, and they had to do something to get them back on. And we saw that Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, you're dead on there. Honestly, if it was my guess, I'd say it was Dow, going in to the offensive meeting and saying, look, guys, I understand this is what we have, been trying to accomplish. It isn't working. We're sitting here at 4-4. And so we are going to do this, whether you like it or not. And so I think, that if I was a betting man, I'd say it was 100% Dow's call.
That would be my guess, too. That would absolutely be my guess. I mean, the inside, the zone, those zone running plays have been a staple of Clemson's offenses for years, and they've been successful. And that zone block scheme, that's what those offensive linemen have been doing forever. It's what they know. It's what they've been taught forever up until this year. So, I mean, my only question is, hey, maybe it's my only thing is maybe it shouldn't have took 4 games. Maybe they should have done it a little quicker.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you're asking me, is it, too little, too late? Obviously, it is. I mean, would they have had the same issues, only rushing the ball for under 100 yards, against teams? Probably not, because you have simplified things. I think, that this right here, this change blows anyone's idea that Dow Sweeney, had his hands in the cookie jar of the, calling plays and stuff like that all season out of the yard.
Yeah, I mean, we wasn't seeing Clemson running all these traps and counters in years past. Again, it was the inside zone, outside zone. That offense relied heavily on the inside zone for years, and we've not seen it that much this year. It's been counters and traps and those kind of things, and they just not had much success doing it. So that's not what Dabo, that's not what Clemson's been doing for all these years under Dabo. It's been a little different this year for sure.
Yes, it is. And Tickle and John and Michael all get in basically with the same thing. Talking about, exciting over seeing these young guys with 3 games left. Yeah, I think, Jay Haynes, Noah Johnson, he had Johnson, I believe, has been battling injury this season, so I'm not sure how much you'll get to see him. Jarvis Green, running half. I mean, these are all guys now that you can use all the way through the ball game. So, there is going to be a lot of young talent on the field these next few games. And so there is also going to be a lot more competition. So you'll start to see, guys that, you thought, hey, maybe they have a chance of competing next year for a job. They can go ahead and take those steps now, since the bowl game no longer counts.
Yeah, I think Haynes has got 2 games left he can play in, and Jarvis Green's got 2 games left he can play in. Although I think Haynes is ahead of Jarvis Green on the depth chart. Same thing with Noble Johnson if he's healthy. I think he's only played in 1 or 2. Can't remember if it's 1 or 2, but
I think it's only one.
it might. I can't remember. I was thinking it might be 1 with him. I know those running backs played in both those games earlier in the season, but that Hannafin's been playing a bunch on special teams, even though he's not played very much at wide receiver. I think he took 1 snap or 2 snaps up in Raleigh a couple weeks ago, if I'm remembering right. Don't hold me to that, but we haven't seen a whole lot of him. I think maybe we see a couple of those freshman offensive linemen if they get an opportunity to put them in there. I think Zachariah Owens got mentioned by name. He's a big old boy. He'd be a load to move, but I thought Clemson brought in. We've seen Harris Sewell plenty already. They got 2 other true freshman offensive linemen that were pretty highly touted coming out of high school. But again, Zach Owens and Ian Reed. So it'd be interesting to see if they get those guys any opportunities moving forward. Because now we heard Dabo say Saturday night that if those 5 they put on the field to begin with along that offensive line didn't work out, they were going to go to the bench early and they were going to go as deep into it as they had to until they found something that worked. So we still might see some of those youngsters along that offensive line yet.
Yeah, I think, Tico, this is something that, asking when something works, I overthink it. That is the nature of coaching. I mean, honestly, I will never ever forget I think it was the 2011 season or 12, one of those 2. Clemson went to South Carolina. Okay, opening drive of the game, they run the ball straight down South Carolina's throat. I mean, they are just pounding the hell out of them. And then Chad Morris calls for Sammy Watkins to throw a pass off a little trick play that gets, picked off in the end zone, and Clemson doesn't sniff, the lead the rest of the game. That is every time I think of a coach overthinking, I think of that moment right there.
I knew that's what you were gonna say. As soon as you started that story, I knew that's the play you were going to. I'll give you another one. During that 4-game losing streak. And I can't remember if it was 2012 or 2013 or 5-game losing streak. Yeah, I can't remember if it was 12. I think it was 2012. They were playing in Clemson, and Rob McDaniel had like 15 carries for 95 yards in the first half, right? And it was a 7-point ball game. It was the game that Clowney had that set the Death Valley sack record.
Oh, yeah.
And in the second half, he touched the ball 5 times. It was like Chad Morris and that offense were trying to score 14 points every time they dropped Taj Boyd back to pass. They didn't want to just win the game. They wanted to blow their doors off, and it ended up costing them, and they got beat. He had, I think it was 15 carries for 95 yards in the first half, and they handed him the ball 5 times in the second half.
Yeah, it honestly is something that we see, week in, week out, up in the rocks. We are sitting there watching something, and honestly, it could have been, I think, 2, 3 years ago, it was like, the coaches just went spells where they forgot they had a guy named Travis Etienne on their team. And, they go for spells without letting him touch the ball. And so it is something that, every coach does. I think that, it is the nature of coaching. And honestly, it is what separates, I think, the good coaches from the great is the ability to stick with what works and not give in to the temptation. I think, it was Frank Howard once that said, I don't care if someone has my playbook, they still have to stop me.
Yeah, hey, we can go back to the South Carolina game last year when they were running the ball effectively, and DJ couldn't hit the backside of a barn, and they kept trying to throw it over and over and over in the second half of that game, and just completely abandoned the running game.
Oh God, let's not even talk about that game. I mean, you have all the momentum in the world, and Dow is going to Dow and call his trick play that ends up shifting the entire field of that game. Let's see, your boy Al Randall has had his body language change a little. It hasn't worked out, but looking more comfortable. I agree.
Yeah, I agree too. I think he's starting to play with more confidence. And that maybe leads to more opportunities. But there weren't a lot of opportunities in the passing game last week. As successful as Clemson was running the ball, that Notre Dame pass defense is pretty dang good. That secondary is really good. They just don't allow a lot of passing down the field. Especially they just don't allow explosive plays at all. Pretty much, I think they were giving up like 13% of the pass attempts that went for more than 20 yards against them. So I mean that secondary is very good, and it's not like Clemson's got a boatload of elite level wide receivers. But yeah, I agree. I think Randall's starting to get some of that confidence back.
Yeah. So you don't attribute his change to Jeff Scott, yeah?
Hey, well, I mean, there could be some, what you call it, the mind. Golly, what's the word?
Telekinesis.
Yeah, there could be some telekinesis going on there, man. Who knows? You never know.
Yeah.
We live in a supernatural world.
Yes, we do. Michael Forrester. Oh, let me go ahead and clear this up, okay? Those of you that won your t-shirts last week, I completely dropped the ball. I thought, look, I honestly thought that I had sent them out, and everything was hectic last week. Jason can tell you it still hasn't slowed down this week for us.
Like my wife thought she had paid the taxes.
Exactly. But yeah. So I thought I had sent them off. I got in my car today and looked under the lift up thing in the tailgate area and saw the packages there. So I got them out today. I apologize. But yeah, it was just one of those things where I thought I had done. But, in the midst of everything, look, Jason, I feel like, you and I could do an entire, story time on our bad luck that we have had. But,
That sounds like one of those priester type of brain farts there, bro.
Serenity now! Serenity now!
yeah. Yeah, I thought I had sent that stuff out and looked right there and saw it, and I said, "Oh my god!" Yeah, yeah. So you're rubbing off on me.
My apologies. Nobody should be shouldered with that type of luck.
Exactly. Anyway, Michael Gibson says the most blue problem with your driving on the line. Good performance that I'm reading her performances all year. Not sure if I guess he is talking Rafa
I think he's talking
or
about the coaches
yeah,
being put on notice.
yeah. I honestly, if you were to ask me right now, did that game change Dow's feelings about, coaches that he needs to change up? Or, coaches that are on his, list? I think that, you are wrong. And look, he understands that, teams and coaches and stuff can, they can, let me see, get, motivated by different things. And so I don't see this being a thing or, you win one game or two games or even the running four. I think that even if the tires went out, there are going to be changes coming.
Agreed. I think there's going to be, no matter what happens from here on
Can't
out,
hear
I
you.
think.
You're talking and we aren't hearing.
Still can't hear me?
Hey, this is the best Jason has been on the show.
I don't know what. All right, I'm going to jump on. I'll be right back.
All right, everyone, give us a like if you like Jason, on the show.
How about now? Hey, Sarian says he hears me. I didn't do anything.
Oh no! We suck again!
Let's see.
Sarian, you can hear me, man?
Uh,
Huh.
Continue with your
All right. Anyway, what I was going to say,
talk.
I don't think anything that happens from here on out is going to change that coaching staff from being tweaked at least somewhat before we get to next season. I don't think that I don't think you're going to see status quo. I think there's going to be some changes before we get into next year. I think there's going to be some tweaks made to that coaching staff. I think the only question is, is it just a tweak here and there? Is it overhauled? Particularly on that offensive side, I think you need, at least one, two more, guys with some real outside experience, compared to, what you got on that staff right now, which is a lot of inexperience. Even the guys that have a little bit of experience now, it's all come from Clemson. They haven't done a lot of coaching outside of that building, so they don't have a lot of outside experience to lean on, man, when things start going rough. So I do think that there's going to be at least a little bit of tweaking to that coaching staff between, now and, between the end of this. Once we get to the end of the season, let's put it that way. I think the audio problems is on my buddy's end over there. I didn't know how. I was wondering how I lost audio. I didn't hit anything. I didn't touch anything. Funny thing is, I could hear him. Nah, she didn't pay them taxes on the Bentley. You misspelled Dodge. Let me fix that for you. Dodge. Dodge. Old Dodge. She told me yesterday or the day before I had to get back up to the highway department this week before I leave out of town this week, because I usually drive her car out of town and leave her my truck because her car is way better on gas. And she told me she wasn't driving my truck again until I went and got that sticker. Somebody talked about some bad losses to Georgia Tech earlier, man. I'll give you an interesting stat on Georgia Tech. Let me pull that thing out. I want to make sure I read it right. I come across it on Twitter today, and it's a very interesting stat. They are one of only 13 teams in the country that averages 200 yards per game rushing and 200 yards per game passing. That's pretty good, right? But they are also just one of two teams that allow 200 yards per game rushing and 200 yards per game passing. So this is a team Clemson should be able to run on, period. I mean, there's been a couple other teams they should have been able to run on too and weren't able to. But this is a team they should be able to run on. It'll be mind-blowing if they take the field Saturday and we see them go back to a lot of pooling and, those kind of things and go away from what worked so well this weekend. I would fully expect them to stay with what worked. Again, it's been a staple of what Clemson's done forever. More evidence that this scheme is not the same as what they've been running for a few years. All that insider talk about leaving the ACC and to be officially announced in October. Here it is, first week going in November, nothing. Yeah, and I don't think you're going to hear anything right now. It's been pushed back a couple of times, and those additions to the ACC, everybody just assumed that was going to speed things up. Well, it's actually the opposite, I think. I don't think you're going to hear anything about any team leaving the ACC until they make it official and finalize the new revenue model with the new teams added and get that thing straightened out and figured out. And the league's dragging their feet on that. And, maybe purposely, if you catch my drift. You back?
Yeah, I think so. I think I have you. Which, I kind of feel like a little bit of an ass since I was sitting there.
I didn't know I knew I hadn't touched anything.
Yeah, it was all, apparently I hit the wrong button, so it caused all kinds of issues, but it was honestly a little bit nice, time
Peace
away.
and quiet.
Yes, sir. So let's see here. All right, let's see here.
I got caught. I got caught with my pants down on the last one because I did not think it was coming that quickly. Which Brooking was a
That's what she
guy.
said.
Which Brooking was a guy who he doesn't do a lot of talking, man. He doesn't talk to the media much, so he never really set an announcement date. The fact that Clemson was not recruiting any other tight end really hard, kind of, especially since his last visit in Florida State, it was kind of easy to start reading tea leaves. I just didn't know it was going to pop off that quickly, but turns out
That's what she said.
he had been told to staff for a while. Just went public with it Friday, but as far as the next one goes, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. The guy, I've talked to a few juniors that were there Saturday for the Notre Dame game, man, and but the reviews are great. I talked to Jordan Howell and I talked to Isaiah Campbell. Third time I've talked to Isaiah Campbell since the summer. Third lengthy conversation I've had with him, and I'll tell you this. Talking to him, I think it was Monday night. More than once, when he was referring to Clemson, he said "we." More than once. Now, maybe it might not mean anything, but I mean, he thinks very highly of Nick Eason. Says he wants to, probably make an announcement in the spring. So I'm not saying we're anywhere close to announcements or an announcement. Come Clemson's one. Oh no, wait a minute, that's Allen. But Clemson's one of the schools. He's really high on Clemson, and is every now and then there's a recruitment that's just got a Clemson feel to it, and I think his is one of those. He just kind of fits everything Clemson stands for. He just seems like he'd be a perfect fit in that culture, and we're talking about a top 100 talent, one of the best defensive linemen in the class.
So there is let's see. There's your little recruiting tip. No glasses.
No glasses right now, man. Those things have been collecting dust here lately.
Yeah.
You had to watch Monday Live to see them the last time. I didn't even throw them out on Twitter. I might start making that exclusive to the show. If you want to see them, you got to tune in.
No, God, please, no.
Matter of fact,
No!
I sat on that thing for 2 days waiting to throw them shades on that Monday night.
Yes, you. Well, I was gonna say this could not talk about South Carolina. There are plenty of painful losses to Georgia Tech we can talk about.
Can you say Calvin Johnson?
So, in fact, I was going to do you one there. In fact, this may have been the Calvin Johnson game. But is that the game where Clemson was trailing or leading, and all they had to do was, yeah, they snapped the ball over his head, and that was the Calvin Johnson game. Because Johnson caught the game-winning touchdown in the end zone.
Yeah.
After that snap. That is still, up there with the all-time ways to time out a game.
Yeah, that was a brutal one, just absolutely brutal. Calvin Johnson just kind of owned Clemson, man.
Yes, he did. And look, honestly, if there is a guy that had to own you, you just sometimes have to tip your hat to. I mean, he is. Uh, is he still in the NFL?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I might be wrong though. I don't think he is. I don't watch the NFL as much as I used to, so I don't think he is though.
Yeah, that's because you're a Cowboys fan.
Yeah, I had to quit.
Exactly, yeah. Come over and join the Dolphins.
My best friend was a Dolphins fan. He died many years ago, but nah, I'm not one of those that once I start with one, I had to stick it out. I'm a fan for life, and they broke my heart enough, man. I had to take a break.
Yes, sir. However, I will say, honestly, Calvin Johnson is probably a first ballot Hall of Famer. So, if there was a guy that had to have your number, you aren't in that for a company. Take a guess and says with Tyler Rowling, the Williams out, I try shooting the slot. Tyler Brown, from everything I have heard, is as close to 100% as you can be heading into your, what is this, 10th game of the season? So, honestly, I see what you're trying to do here, but I am not liking that.
Oh no! If Kyler Brown's available, he's my guy in the slot. Absolutely, 100%. No doubt about it. Even if he's 80%. And Calvin Johnson's been out of the league since 2015.
Holy cow. That, that is insane to think that.
Man, it does not seem that long ago, does it?
I mean, you know what that makes us.
Old as dirt.
That's right.
Or that's what the wife tells me, anyways.
That's what she said.
Let's see here. Yeah. Not sure that you're going to wait until the ESPN contract activates the SEC to hear something. I will say this: Clemson is actively, like actively, like I can't state that enough. They are actively looking at the grantor rights and have teams looking at how they can get out of it.
Well, the
So,
SEC's new deal kicks in after this season. This is the last year of the old deal, anyways. So.
yeah, yeah. I honestly, yeah, it it doesn't surprise me that we haven't heard anything yet. But do not let the silence coming from the Clemson administration. They have never, been so or as loud and kind of, you know, as FSU was, but don't let that silence, you know, be mistaken for, you know, not being active and continuing this process. They have been researching and their lawyers have been looking at the grant rights. So they are still actively looking at how they can get the hell out of the ACC.
I think the delay is the additions to the
Yeah,
league and getting the new
yeah,
financial model worked out. Because like I was told, we talked about it weeks ago. I was told that they think they found a way out, and it was all but done. And everybody just assumes that the announcement everybody was talking about was Clemson's going to come out and say, "Hey, we leaving so and so, and we're joining this conference." I'm not sure that's what the announcement's going to be. Um, it might be a little bit something different, and you might not know the where for a little while longer. But I 100% fully believe it's coming sooner rather than later, and I just think it's gotten delayed a couple of times, and this latest one being with the additions and not kind of being handcuffed by not knowing what you need to know what the new financial model is if you're going to fight this thing in court. You got to wait for these things to play out.
yeah. I mean, yeah, that the new guys, the new additions almost came at the wrong time for Clemson, FSU, and UNC. I mean, yeah, they all want out. And like you said, now these new additions that came into the league, SMU, Stanford, and Cal, that threw a wrinkle that wasn't really foreseen.
Yeah, everybody
And
just assumed that it was going to speed it up, but it's probably kind of slowed it down. And um, it'd be funny is saying that it's the day when the new SEC contract starts that the legal sets the legal point where Clemson is damaged by the new valuations of SEC, ESPN. Same with the Big Ten deal too. Yeah, there's language in the grant of rights that makes it challengeable once those new deals kick in. Absolutely.
yeah, Team I can answer this for you. Jason prefers the Big Ten because they have men's and women's soccer. So he said screw the baseball. I don't give a crap about that. I want my soccer.
I'd rather watch paint dry or grass grow. But I will say this: I think we've talked about it on here before. I have been programmed to absolutely hate the SEC with a burning passion, and the thought of Clemson joining the SEC makes me nauseous.
You're not a nice person.
I know.
Yeah, I think that I can't wait for you to get your SEC shirt and be able to stand there as Georgia wins a national title and do like the Gamecocks do and go SEC, SEC,
It
SEC.
it would bother me a lot less now than compared to 5 years ago because I'm just not that emotionally invested anymore. But man, 5 years ago, I would have just whoa. Now I really don't care either way. But you would never hear me beating my chest over what league Clemson plays in. I think that's a loser's mentality.
Oh, please. Look, I heard you in the press box this last Saturday. Yeah, you were sitting there going, ACC, ACC, ACC. And you were, I think at one point you stood up, and gave the one finger salute to Marcus Freeman and those guys down there. You say I heard you said you to Sam Harden as we were walking through in the tunnel. I, it's okay. You can bang your ACC drum.
I will never beat that drum. Ever. I would never beat any conference drum. I am of the firm belief that you pull for a school. Pick a school, man. Pick a school. Any school, but pick one. You can't root for the whole damn conference. Those are your rivals.
I agree 1,000%. The conference, cheerleaders are losers. You should never, ever want, your conference rival to do better than you because you're recruiting against them, you're competing against them. And honestly, it's a loser mentality. Hard time says I need to earn my polo shirt, and he still needs his Tiger Cave vest.
I tell you, when I get out to Hyman, I'll come by. I still haven't been out that way yet.
Yes, sir. Yeah, and I see that purple shirt will not see another game this season. Unless, see, here's where we need y'all's help, okay? If y'all would, not, if, let me think of the right way to say this so that I can. If y'all would, support the channel and the site more when we lost, I, maybe I would do that. But, let's see here. Ouch, ouch, wear the purple shirt to basketball games?
I think he's trying to send a one of those subliminal messages, one of those read between the lines type of deals there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, let's see here. Let's get to a color. No, actually, Jason sleeps with a John Swofford.
It's my guy, man. That's my guy.
Yeah.
Anybody that brings Syracuse into the fold, that is my guy.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He has a little shrine set up in his, office, where he can go in there and twice a day yeah,
Bow to the master.
Your wife's calling on the SEC. Let's see. If your mascot is a dirty bird like a gamecock, you have to for a conference, you're very disappointed. Let's see. We'd love to eat Ohio State repeatedly. They're a bunch of overrated a-holes. Soffer is a dirty word. So I guess I can only say John. Let's see here. Let's fire through these. I thought the SEC is a better fit. Big 12 doesn't feel right to me. The SEC is in Clemson's backyard. Yeah, the Big 12 is not going to
I think he means Big
eliminate.
Ten.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking that. Yeah, the SEC is a better fit. The only hurdle that you have to get over is those dirty birds.
Yeah,
'Cause
they've got the
they,
votes to keep Clemson
yeah,
out. Make no mistake, they got the votes to keep Clemson out if it came down to that. But if Greg Sankey wants them in, he can make South Carolina stand down.
yeah, exactly. So you're saying Greg Sankey can make the Cox go limp?
Absolutely, 100%.
That's true. SMU does nothing for the ACC but helps sustain business once FSU, Clemson, Sours League.
That's all
Yeah,
that move was about.
yeah, yeah. I mean, SMU, Cal, Stanford, they do absolutely zero for this conference. So, yeah, I mean, the only thing that you're getting out of that is the solidity that when FSU, Clemson, and UNC say we're out, you have a conference still.
You stay above that number that you don't dip below that number or whatever it is, 15 or 14. I can't remember what it is, but there's a number. If you don't have so many teams, ESPN can renegotiate the deal, and adding those 3 teams ensures the league will not fall below that number if 3 teams leave.
That is true. So let's see. I think we should give some stuff away. And I swear I am going to not leave it in my car. Yes, sir.
Let's address this one before we jump out of here.
Oh, yeah.
Andrew Dennis. I do not get a good feeling off him at the moment. If you ask me, I think Penn State's probably the team to beat right now. I think he's going there this weekend. I expect
It's
him
not
to
a
be.
lie.
I expect
If you
him to be in
believe it.
Clemson for the North Carolina game. Although I have not confirmed that, I think that's when he's going to come. Clemson's got Elijah Thurman coming this week for the Georgia Tech game. I have been told that Favor Edwin's official visit has been pushed back to the North Carolina game due to him having a playoff game this week. Don't know what would happen if their team was to win on Friday night. Does that affect him coming to next week? I don't know. I've reached out to him earlier today. I hadn't heard back from him yet to get some clarification on that. But those are the 3 guys right there, the 3 guys at the top of the list for your 2024 offensive lineman: Favor Edwin, Andrew Dennis, and Elijah Thurman. And I would probably like Clemson's chances with Dennis the least out of those 3 right now. Once you get him here on campus, obviously things can change. So we'll have to see where things stand once they get him down here, if they in fact do get him down here.
Awesome. So there you go. You heard it from the guru himself, Greg Stanky. I like it. I like it. So, Jason.
What we giving away tonight?
I was going to ask you. We have, let's see. We are out of hats, so there are no hats available. Actually, you know what? I take that back. I have this hat left. Let me see. There. We have our purple Clemson Tiger shirts. Not the polo like I wore.
T-shirt.
Yeah. T-shirt, and we still have a few reviews offside. So
Let's go with the T-shirts.
um,
The all our T-shirts, the all Clemson
all
T-shirts.
right, all right. So those are all XL. So there is no need to let me know your size. We figure everyone is nice and fat, this time of year, so we can go ahead. I tell you what, let let's do 2 shirts and this hat.
There we go. All right, I like it.
All right, so what's up first?
The hat. No, let's do the hat last.
All right, the hat last. So let's see here. DP, you are our first winner. So if you email Jason at that email address on the screen, we'll get your shirt sent out. Let's go again. I mean, you have the same deal. So email Jason your address and I'll get a shirt out to you. Alright. Our last one of the night is this hat. Honestly, you should feel honored because it is the last one that we have in stock.
And they're nice.
Yes, they are. Jason wears his, every game, so they are very nice. So let's see here who's going to get the hat. Ham. So same deal. If you email Jason your contact info, I'll get that to y'all tomorrow.
Yep, just email me and we will get you taken care of.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, yeah. As always, I want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. We can't, do this show without y'all. We appreciate the support. Give us a like, subscribe on YouTube, and we are going to be back here at Friday night for our pregame show. So be sure to tune to that. Jason, any final thoughts? Any words of wisdom?
I have no words of wisdom. If you have not hit that subscribe button, please do so. And we will see you guys Friday as we get you set for Georgia Tech.
Yes, sir. We'll see y'all Friday.